Coming up on DETV News, more than a dozen HBCUs around the country received bomb threats this week, and one hit very close to home.
Plus, you can now buy alcohol for takeout at your favorite restaurant, brewpub, or tavern. Details on the new law.
And employees at a beloved Delaware hotel got a whopping $5,000 tip. Those stories and much more are just ahead, plus your local forecast and sports.
DETV News starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to DETV News, your trusted news source. I'm Lauren Wilson.
And I'm Matt Ford. Thanks for joining us tonight. January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and as the month came to a close earlier this week, state officials, advocates, and prosecutors came together to announce the formation of a new HTU, that stands for Human Trafficking Unit. Attorney General Kathy Jennings announced the Delaware Department of Justice's first dedicated human trafficking unit. The announcement marks the first time in Delaware history anti-human trafficking efforts will be housed in the state as a permanent unit.
This state has made substantial strides, not only in recognizing human trafficking for what it is, but in educating the public in terms of enforcement through law enforcement officers and in terms of our own laws.
Delaware law enforcement agencies made more than 50 human trafficking related arrests over the last 5 years, but that figure is believed to only represent a fraction on the full scale of trafficking in the first state.
By their nature, these crimes happen in the shadows, and they are committed by increasingly sophisticated criminals.
The HTU plans to collaborate with the public and nonprofit partners to raise awareness, support survivors, and educate the public on prevention methods to stop trafficking. The unit is currently managing several ongoing investigations, and if you or anyone suspects human trafficking, you're urged to contact the National Human Trafficking Hotline or call 911 if someone is in danger.
Historically, black colleges and universities across the country received bomb threats this week.
And unfortunately, Delaware State University was included. DETV's Kaylin Pride has more.
On the first day of the eve of Black History Month, many HBCUs across the country received bomb threats. Institutions such as Howard University, Coppin State, and Spelman College were just a few of over 20 campuses put on lockdown, and in some cases even canceling classes due to the threat.
I will say that these are certainly disturbing, and the White House is in touch with the interagency partners, including federal law enforcement leadership on this, and will continue to monitor these reports. The President is aware. I don't believe he's received a formal briefing, but he is aware of these reports, and obviously, as you noted, law enforcement authorities would be running point.
Dover's own Delaware State University was one of the first HBCUs to receive a threat on January 31st. DSU Mass Communications student Nia Pope shared her thoughts and concerns about the threat against her university.
I was concerned for the safety of not only my HBCU, but other HBCUs. And again, I just felt a little suspicious of why historically black colleges and universities were specifically being targeted.
Although no explosive devices were found at any of the HBCUs threatened, Delaware State University President Dr. Tony Allen put a statement out on Monday morning stating, "We shall not be moved from standing sentry beside the open door, nor shall we be confused, intimidated, or bullied into believing anything other than what we are."
They were trying to send a message across to us about Black people and our excellence and our education.
Some targeted universities returned to normal operations and regular classes, but many of the institutions turned to remote learning. The FBI has identified 6 persons of interest in this matter, but have not yet found the suspects responsible for the threat against Delaware State University. I'm Kaylin Pride with DETV News.
Over the weekend during the winter storm, Newcastle County police officers responded to reports of a man lying on the ground unconscious under the snow. When officers arrived, they found a 41-year-old male deceased in front of his residence. The incident happened in Newark on the block of 400 Jacobson Drive in the community of Hudson Village. The investigation revealed that while it was unexpected, the cause of death is not considered suspicious. The investigation is still active, and police are asking anyone with information or video to contact Newcastle County Police.
There's some good news on the COVID front. Cases in Delaware are declining, but the governor says now is still not the time to end the statewide indoor mask mandate. A few weeks ago, cases were on the rise, peaking at over 3,000. But as of this week, the numbers are now under 1,000. The CDC recommends Delaware should be giving 80,000 tests per month, but during the first 2 weeks of the year, the test rate reached 60,000 per week. With the COVID cases declining, so are hospitalizations, with only 400 patients in the hospital for COVID treatment. That's a significant drop from January. Governor Carney credits this reduction to the number of Delawareans who are fully vaccinated. Of the 66% who are fully vaccinated, more than 40% have received the booster.
So we need to get more Delawareans boosted, and we know we can affect that hospital number. We know that we can affect the spread of COVID in our communities, and we know we're going to have to.
In other news, a Delaware surf fishing permit and tag quickly became a hot commodity. That became abundantly clear this week after the permit sold out in less than 4 hours. The permits allow people to drive onto designated sections of Delaware State Park's beaches for fishing throughout the season. As people rushed to the Delaware State Park's website for the release of these permits, the site struggled to keep up. People then flooded Facebook with complaints of error messages or links not showing up properly. The standard surf fishing permits are sold on a first-come, first-served basis, and they're capped at $17,000 each year. On social media, those who did not claim one of the coveted surf fishing permits blamed out-of-staters for scooping up the tags. DENREC says that while people can still purchase off-peak permits for 2022, no more standard fishing permits will be made available until 2023. Still to come tonight on DETV News, Delaware restaurants are one step closer to be able to sell alcohol to go on a permanent basis, but there is some fine print.
And Shakira will be here for a look at your weekend forecast. Stay with us. There's much more ahead after this break.
As soon as I got here, I just felt the warm embrace of the community, man. Like what y'all got going on is wonderful. And no wonder y'all called the work group, because y'all putting that work in. For real, seriously, y'all getting the work done.
We are committed to creating the best Riverside we can with the community, for the community.
This message is brought to you by Newcastle County Government.
Hi, I'm Dr. Neil Hochstein at ENT and Allergy of Delaware. We've been very fortunate to be protected from COVID-19 with the vaccines, but now we're hearing a lot about booster shots. If you're over 65 or have some immune compromise, booster shots are an effective way to strengthen your immune system again. It's the same vaccine that you received with your first or second dose, and it can extend and strengthen the protection that you've already received. Keep yourself and your friends and family safe. Thank you.
Welcome back to DETV News. Well, the groundhog has spoken, so it's official. 6 more weeks of winter, according to Punxsutawney Phil, arguably the world's most famous groundhog. Now, if by chance you don't fully believe in Phil's forecast, here's Shakira with a look at how the weekend is shaping up. Hey, Shakira.
More winter days? Well, Matt, I know some of us may not be looking forward to it, but let's just see if we at least have some sunny skies with your DETV 3-day weather forecast. In Newcastle County, you can expect cold temperatures in the 30s, but sunny skies, which is always nice and helps us to prepare for a great week ahead. On Monday, we will see partly cloudy skies, and the temperatures are going to increase to a high of 45 degrees. For our families in Kent County, Saturday will have a high of 30 degrees, and Sunday, temperatures will rise a bit to about 37 degrees. We will have bright and sunny skies, but it will be cold, especially at night, so dress warmly if you're going to be out. Monday, there will be partly cloudy skies with a high of 45 degrees. And Sussex County, you won't be left out because you will see those same beautiful sunny skies too, but cold temperatures as well. Saturday, there'll be a high of 30 degrees, and Sunday will be around 37 degrees. And on Back to Work Monday, we will take that warm up with a high of 45 degrees. So yes, Matt, our friend Phil is predicting another 6 more weeks, but I hope he's wrong. Everyone, please stay warm, stay safe, and be well. Back to you, Matt.
Shakara, thank you. For the first time, the Delaware General Assembly has a legislative women's caucus. That's because of the growing number of female lawmakers. Women make up 1/3 of the 62-member General Assembly. The bipartisan group from both the Senate and the House will focus on issues affecting women. House Majority Leader Valerie Longhurst is a co-chair of the caucus. Longhurst urged women in the state to work with the caucus as it addresses issues such as gender disparities in education, healthcare, affordability, public safety, and more.
Plans are underway for Wilmington's most historic residential redevelopment investment. Mayor Mike Przicki announced plans for a $50 million residential redevelopment and stabilization plan. The investment will include full rehabilitation of existing homes, roof improvements for current homeowners, and demolition of vacant properties. $30 million will go towards rebuilding the city's historic east side. The neighborhood enhancements will also include a new state-funded and state-of-the-art Bancroft School. Classes and programming will be for students in 1st through 8th grade. There will also be a new athletic field and after-hours programming at the school. In the announcement, the mayor commended the governor for his commitment to education to students, parents, teachers, and administrators.
Recreational marijuana has moved one step closer to being voted on in the Delaware General Assembly. The bill was released from committee and is headed to the House floor for consideration next. The so-called Delaware Marijuana Act would allow adults over the age of 21 to legally possess up to 1 ounce of marijuana for personal use. If passed, a 15% tax would be placed on the sale. 7% of that revenue would be directed to communities disproportionately prosecuted for crimes related to marijuana. As for getting support from the top,
Governor, has your stance on marijuana legalization changed at this point since there is a new bill progressing through the General Assembly?
It has not changed.
18 other states or territories, including New Jersey, New York, Washington, D.C., and Virginia, have already passed legislation legalizing recreational use of marijuana.
Just ahead, employees of a Rehoboth Beach staple received quite a big surprise this week.
And tax season is officially underway, and there are a few changes to the deadlines this year. We'll tell you what they are when we return.
Let DART do the driving. DART First State provides transportation that is clean, safe, reliable, and affordable. Plan your trip and get real-time bus information with the free DART Transit app. Scan your phone to pay your fare with the free DART Pass app. So what are you waiting for? Try transit today. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
It's Black History Month, and with that came the unveiling of a new historical marker. On Wednesday, Governor Carney was joined by the Delaware Public Archives and others for the unveiling of the state Delaware historical marker for Abraham Shadd family. Shadd was an abolitionist in Wilmington who provided housing for slaves who were fleeing southern states with his involvement in the American Anti-Slavery Society. He was a leading delegate at the National Convention of Freed Black Men in the 1840s.
Black culture is American culture, and Black stories are essential to the ongoing story of America. Our faults, our struggles, our progress, our aspirations, the full story. Shining a light on Black history today is as important, I would add maybe more important, an understanding of ourselves and growing stronger as a nation as it has ever been before.
The 70th annual National Prayer Breakfast was held Thursday morning at an event that was live streamed for all to see. Delaware U.S. Senator Chris Coons introduced the keynote speaker, Brian Stevenson, a Delawarean who is the founder and executive director of the Equal Justice Initiative. The human rights organization is headquartered in Montgomery, Alabama. President Biden also made remarks at the breakfast. And Wilmington students received a special visit this week and learned that science is magic that works. Tally Middle School students received a visit from the nonprofit organization called the Learning Undefeated Drop Anywhere Lab. The traveling science laboratory is housed in a shipping container and is scheduled to visit 2 other Wilmington schools this month. The organization partnered with AstraZeneca to bring hands-on STEM education to local students in Wilmington.
Well, it's official. You can get alcohol to go from restaurants here in the first state thanks to a new bill. The legislation makes drive-through and takeout alcohol sales legal and permanent. The measure grew out of the pandemic when people couldn't go to bars and restaurants. Lawmakers passed the bill yesterday. Governor Carney plans to sign it into law once his legal team reviews it. Originally, the law was temporary under Carney's pandemic emergency orders and was expected to expire in a couple of months. Here's the fine print. Customers must buy at least $10 worth of food to get the to-go drink. The bill limits sales to one 750 milliliter bottle of wine, 6 servings of beer, and mixed cocktails. The drinks must be in sealed containers with a lid or a cap to prevent people from drinking and driving. Restaurants will not be required to sell alcohol to go, but it is an option as a result of the bill.
Tax season is now underway as Delaware's Division of Revenue began processing the 2021 tax returns on Monday. Delaware's filing season was delayed this year. That's because of a requirement to include newly signed legislation that exempts unemployment insurance payments from Delaware income taxes in the year 2021. Taxpayers were still able to file in advance of this date, but returns were held until processing began this week. For faster turnaround times, people are encouraged to file their taxes online and request direct deposit. To combat refund fraud, the Division of Revenue will hold all personal income tax refunds until February 11th. This year's filing deadline for personal income tax is Monday, May 2nd. For filing information, including reciprocity agreements with other states, visit revenue.delaware.gov.
When we come back, Nick Alessandrini will be here with your weekly wrap-up of sports, so stay tuned.
This message is brought to you by Newcastle County Government.
Many wonder, what is a variant? A variant is a mutation or a change in the genetic sequence of the virus. Some of our methods of treating COVID-19 become ineffective. If we were to simply get vaccinated, we could decrease the spread and the likelihood that a mutation would form in the first place. Let's get vaccinated.
Welcome back. I'm Nick Alessandrini with DETV Sports. A new #1 in boys basketball and some huge games on Tuesday, including a big upset in girls basketball. But let's start with the top 10 matchup from Tuesday in boys. #3 Sally's making the trip down to #6 Appoquinimink. Sally's has been lights out since coming into that in-state schedule. Undefeated in the state of Delaware are the Sals. First quarter action here will pick it up when Darion Williams finds Isaiah Hinson for 3, and it was raining triples for the Sals on Tuesday. Appo would answer with Nate Burlew inside, gets that one to go, all tied at 4. This time it's Hinson to Williams who knocks down the tray from beyond the arc, 7-4 Sals, when sophomore Kareem Thomas gets downhill and finishes plus the foul. Jaguars turning the defense into offense here as Tommy Vaughn Jr. comes up with the steal. He goes coast to coast and finishes with a chance at the three-point play. Sal's up 8 with the first half winding down when Owen Parrish, who hop steps inside, he finishes off the glass. Sal's up just 6 at the break. Kicking it off in the third with Hodge Bell, who somehow finds Burlew underneath. 2 more for the big fella. Then it's the Sal's defense. Hinson with the steal here. Up ahead to Kareem Thomas, who adds to his score total. Late in the third now, Sal's up 8 when Justin Mullen, he's going to show you what he can do. A little step back, bang, he hits the 3. Now Sal's back up double digits. Then one more time here as Hinson elevates and hits another triple for the Sals. Incredible shooting night for Sally's. Here's Brett O'Hara. He puts an exclamation point on there inside. Sally's gets the win on the road, 73-57. Now on to potentially the girls basketball game of the week on Tuesday. Number 3, Ursuline and unranked Archmere. Ursuline came into the contest at 8-3. No in-state losses for the Red Raiders. Archmere at 6-5. But what a start for the Auks on the road. Bryn Bastian Pastore hits the 3 to get the Auks started. Then a few minutes later, Lydia Scarpacci hits another triple for the Auks. Look at that follow through. Then Lucy Oliver puts it on the floor, finishes a 10-0 run for the Auks to begin the game. Red Raiders, though, right back in it, 12-7 when Ella Gordon hits a big 3. But the Trey balls, they would not stop falling for the Auks. This time, Bridget Hamburger hits this one from way downtown. Then to the third, Lucy Oliver once again able to get inside for 2 more, followed by another Hamburger triple. Auks are on top 26-16, but a lot of game left. Ursuline down 9 when Ellie Carter hits the 3. Straightaway center for Ursuline. Then Carter this time makes the right play, finds Hannah Kelly down low, who finishes for 2. Then Kelly again battling on the glass, gets the putback. This game is all tied up with 5 to play. Auks up 2 late when Oliver extends it to 4, and the game would come down to the last shot. After a 3 to tie the game, Lauren Kim would throw up a shot at the buzzer and hit it to win the game for the Auks as time expires 38-36. An upset win for the Auks, who take down the number 3rd ranked team in the state, Ursuline, who now has their first in-state loss. Now it's time to quickly look at the Delaware Live Sports basketball rankings. This week's win will take effect next week, so the new number 1 this week is Tower Hill. Sanford, they move up to the 2 spot. Sally's, they have been rolling, undefeated in state, up to number 3rd in the rankings. Howard, they stay put at 4. Dover falls from number 1 to number 5 after a tough loss in a few close games last week. Woodbridge, they get in at number 10, but a tough loss to Seaford on Tuesday. What a game that was. And Smyrna, Caravel, William Penn, and Appo are rounding it out. Not too much shifting in the bottom half. Now in the girls' rankings, not too much shifting at all this week. A few moves in the bottom half of the top 10, but obviously a jump coming next week for the Auks after the big win over Ursuline. Ursuline might fall a few spots with that loss, and Dover able to crack the top 10 this week as well. They're in there for the first time at number 10. And at this time, we'd like to congratulate Delaware native, former Blue Hen, and current LA Ram Troy Reeder on the win in the NFC Championship game on Sunday. Troy had 8 tackles and a pass deflection in the 20-17 win over the Niners. Reeder was a star linebacker for the Blue Hens and helped lead his high school alma mater, Salesianum, to a football state title. Reeder will now try and become the 2nd consecutive Delaware native to start in and win the Super Bowl following Chris Godwin from last season. Super Bowl 57 between the Rams and Bengals is set for February 13th at 6:30 at SoFi Stadium in LA. Big last couple weeks as well for the former St. George's Hawk, Nashawn Bones Highland. Just a few weeks ago on January 15th, Bones dropped his career-high 27 points in a win against LeBron and the Lakers. And it was announced earlier this week that Bones has signed his first shoe deal. Highland signed a footwear and apparel endorsement with Under Armour. It's amazing to have a brand that believes in me and sees my potential like Under Armour, Bones said. Sources say it's a multi-year 6-figure deal for Bones, who continues an impressive rookie campaign. Now it's time for the Week 7 Delaware Live Sports Top Plays of the Week coming at you right here on DETV. We've got 5 good ones. So let's get started at number 5. Starting off with Howard, it's Xavier Richards' pal. He's going to show you how to throw it down with one hand. Out in transition, leaking ahead of the pack, going to corral this one and throw it down. Big win for Howard over AI last week. On to number 4, Elijah Proctor Moore from St. Andrews. Check out him on the baseline. Proctor Moore, here's Cuttings, going to receive it, and he throws it down with the one hand. 2 big one-handed flushes at number 5 and number 4. On to number 3, Chris Stanford from Sanford. Good season for the young fella for the Warriors. Here he picks off that pass at half court, and he's just going to throw it down with some emphatic throwdown there for Stanford. On to number 2, Smyrna. You know the name Lish Gregory. He's been all over the court this year for the Eagles. Here's the 3 by Danielle Laro. It won't fall. Gregory right under the basket, positions himself well, goes up and throws it down on the putback. And at number 1, Margot Gramiak from Wilmington Friends. This video courtesy of Friends. Check it out. Timer winding down, and this one just launches it up in front of half court, able to knock down the 3-quarter shot as the buzzer sounds for Gramiak and Friends. That's all for sports this week. Make sure you stay tuned. More DETV news after the break.
Let DART do the driving. DART First State provides transportation that is clean, safe, reliable, and affordable. Plan your trip and get real-time bus information with the free DART Transit app. Scan your phone to pay your fare with the free DART Pass app. So what are you waiting for? Try transit today. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
Welcome back. DETV was on hand when the so-called Challenge program kicked off a capital campaign. The effort will support its new giant facility now under construction on the 7th Street Peninsula in Wilmington. To highlight the occasion, Barclays and the Challenge program enacted a ceremonial timber frame raising top-off event. It included nailing a piece of evergreen at the top of the final beam. This is a centuries-old tradition symbolizing life and the promises of good things to come. The Challenge program is a key community partner in Barclays' Life Skills Initiative. That initiative focuses on helping people develop skills and confidence for the workplace. Barclays has provided initial seeding funding for the new workshop. It's scheduled to be completed sometime this summer.
And check this out. Thanks to a social media nomination, employees at the Rehoboth Plaza Hotel in Rehoboth Beach recently received a $5,000 tip. There's a neat story behind it. The tip came from the Lemonade Foundation's Great American Tip-Off Initiative. The Lemonade Foundation was founded by Marcus Lemonis, an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and TV host. Because the food service industry was hit so hard during the pandemic, Lemonis launched the Great American Tip-Off in November. He pledged to give $1 million from his foundation to food service workers across the country. A well-deserved congratulations goes out to the hardworking and very lucky employees at the Boardwalk Plaza Hotel.
Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester announced her nominations for the admission to the United States Service Academy's class of 2026. Each year, members of Congress nominate the top candidates for attendance for 4 U.S. service academies. A selection panel of several community members, including active duty and retired service members, helped the Congresswoman. She selected 21 students from Delaware Military Academy, Caravel Academy, St. Mark's, Sussex Tech, and Caesar Rodney High Schools. The 21 outstanding Delaware students will be attending the U.S. Military Academy, U.S. Naval Academy, U.S. Air Force Academy, and U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. We here at DETV wish them the best as they move forward in their journey to serve our state and the nation.
And finally tonight, last weekend's winter storm was a welcome break for many snow lovers. Lots of people made the best by having a good old-fashioned time in the snow. Families gathered at Del Castle Park to slip and slide down the snowy hill. Oh, look how cute. Many brought their sleds and snowboards to the park, and even some took a tumble on the way down. Oh boy, there he goes. Oh boy. He looks like he was all right though, so that's good.
That's right. Now, before we go, we'd be remiss if we didn't wish one of our own a very happy birthday. She's a jack of all trades here at the station, a producer of the Good Morning Wilmington show, a floor director, and many DETV shows, including the one you're watching right now. Naj McLean, we want to wish you a very happy birthday.
And we hid this from her in the script so she couldn't read it, so I can see her behind behind the prompter there. We surprised her, so that's good. So in all trueness, we started DETV earlier in 2021, and Naj was the OG, we call her. She's just fantastic, and we love her to pieces. So big
Thank you
happy
for
birthday.
all that you do.
Yes.
Well, that is our week in review. Thanks for watching DETV News. I'm Lauren Wilson.
And I'm Matt Ford. Be sure to check us out across social media. Stay well, and we'll see you next time.